Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
Hello out there in Twitch world. What is up? It is us. You know the drill. We are the Cheap Pop Podcast. I am Dark Lord 100. That guy shaking his head because he's old is the Saint. And the Viking-looking man in the middle is the one and only Rune Scryer. What's up, y'all? How y'all doing today?
It's
been a day.
Yeah.
All right. Well, today we're gonna get into talking some fun things, have some fun, put some smiles on some faces, and see where this conversation train takes us. We're gonna first open up. We started a trend last week. Y'all seem to like it, so we're gonna kind of keep it going. And that is the pop trivia, the pop culture quiz that we did. Last week's question was a little bit easy,
man.
And we're going to start out pretty easy with this one as well. Again, we'll open and close with this each segment. So the first question that's up is, what cartoon, so this is featuring 90s cartoons, features three superhero sisters created with sugar, spice, and everything nice? Hold your answers till the end. Hey, I just find them. All right, so first hot topic of the day.
Obviously not looking though.
Wait, hey, just because we're old and have great memories doesn't mean that everybody out there does. We'll see if anybody out there actually gets it. All right, so I guess the original Ninja Turtle movie is coming back to. I think you said all three are coming back, potentially to the theaters for the 35th anniversary.
Let me double check that article.
Okay.
Let's see.
All I know is if it's happening,
just the first one.
Just the first one. All right. Well, I will be taking my daughter to go see that. We went and saw the live action Lilo and Stitch, which I'll talk about a little bit later.
I mean,
yeah.
If we had to suffer through Ninja Rap, she does too.
Well, isn't Ninja Rap 2, right?
I thought Ninja Rap was 1.
No, Ninja Rap was 2.
Okay, never mind then.
Yeah, because that's when they go into the. It's when they're battling, Bebop and Rocksteady that they end up in the theater and they're in Vanilla Ice is in the back with the ninja. Yeah.
The Super Shredder.
Yeah, Kevin Nash.
I have that blocked out in my mind. So
yeah, I don't blame you. It wasn't a good movie, but the first one was classic. Had a lot of great characters in it. It's my favorite version of Casey Jones by far. So can't wait to see. I forget who the guy was that played Raphael, but he was somebody notable.
No, I think it was the voice. I think it was either Corey Feldman or Corey Haim.
Corey Feldman
One-
was the
yeah.
voice. Hang on a second.
Yeah, I think it was Corey Feldman.
Yeah, back in 1990. Let's see. Okay. No, Josh Pace was Raphael. Um, Brian Tochi was Leonardo. Corey Feldman was Donatello.
Okay.
And Robbie Rist was Michelangelo.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's something.
Robbie Wrist.
Yeah.
Wow.
Kevin Clash, not Kevin Nash. Kevin Clash was the voice of Splinter. Elmo
Really?
was the voice of Splinter.
My dude said, my dude said I made a funny. Oh, that's one of my seeds. Like, yeah, like the voice acting, that's what made that movie so spectacular to me, is it wasn't necessarily the practical special effects, because those
Right.
were kind of wonky through the whole thing. It was the actors that put it over the top. It's kind of like Mortal Kombat.
Yep.
The original Mortal Kombat, like graphically, oh my God, they could have done better. Like,
Well,
like not as bad as 2, but like,
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
listen. James and James Remar, one of my favorite actors. He was in The Warriors. He was the Tailor in Black Lightning. But my goodness, Raiden, come on, man! When he became human,
yeah.
like
it was-
it became super cringe-worthy. It
But
was
in-
cringe. It was super cringe.
In the first Mortal Kombat movie, it was Christopher Lambert who was Raiden.
Listen,
Yeah.
I could deal because
Highlander.
That one fit.
yeah, that fit because it was the case of I don't think so. He was menacing, but it was like when James Remar came in, like, who the fuck is this?
They
Like,
better not ever
wait a
make
minute.
Adventures in Babysitting. Sorry to say, didn't
Yeah.
mean to go. Tech Tinkers, they better not ever remake Adventures in Babysitting. I
Yeah.
will drive to Hollywood myself. It will be Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back with me going to Hollywood to stop that fucking movie from being made.
Yeah.
Adventures in Babysitting is a movie like Princess
Yeah.
Bride is a great movie. It is a perfect movie the way it is. Don't fuck with it. Don't remake it. Don't do none of that. Same thing with Goonies. Leave that shit alone.
We are getting.
No, we are getting a sequel though of the Goonies.
sequel to
Okay, I'm
Goonies,
down with a
yeah.
sequel. I'm down with a
Yeah.
sequel. Don't remake it.
Right. Exactly.
But it's we will never, though, that era of movies, we won't ever get movies like that again, and we don't need to get movies like that again because they were just excellent movies that just need to be left alone.
Yeah.
But and just to correct you real quick, Tech Tinkers, they're not remaking the Ninja Turtles, they're just re-releasing it.
Yeah.
The original film is being re-released in the theaters for its 35th anniversary. If they were to I think that they're sticking when it comes to remaking the Ninja Turtle movies. I think after the way that TMNT, the one with Megan Fox as
Yeah.
April O'Neil, like the way that was panned and the sequel was kind of panned, like some people liked it, but overall people just didn't like it. I think the way those movies are panned, I think they're going to leave live action Ninja Turtles alone for a while.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
problem was they got Michael Bay involved.
yeah. The second movie, only reason I liked it is because they brought in what was the name of the dude, the brain in the
Krang.
Krang. They brought in Krang and introduced him to the live action universe. I like that part of it. But other than that, the rest of it was, and even the first movie, the coolest scene from it was them in the elevator doing the beatboxing. Like that was the coolest scene from the whole movie. Didn't involve
Everything
fighting.
was cringeworthy.
Yep, 100%. Like you said, cringeworthy. Well, I hope that they go with the Indiana Jones thing with Indy passing it on. I'm good with them continuing it on with a new person being in the Indy kind of role, but don't remake it. Don't start over.
Yeah. Yep. Pass
So,
it on. Which is
We
what
can't
they
have
tried to
any of
do-
that.
What they tried to do with the fifth one, but they failed.
Failed miserably.
Yeah.
All right, so-
they tried to do it with Crystal Skull, which failed. Yeah.
We've got another one to talk about here, and I'm going to kind of step back because I don't really remember who this guy was. I'm pretty sure both of you do. I might remember some of his work, but I don't remember a lot of it. And that is Jim Shooter,
Oh yeah.
passed
Yeah.
away. So, gentlemen, give some thoughts because
All right.
Jim Shooter is um, rather controversial. He was editor at Marvel Comics. He was a writer, editor at Marvel Comics from the 70s through the 80s. And people generally either love him or they hate him because this is people who were in the industry even.
yeah,
Because people have been saying nice things because he recently passed, but prior to that, they're talking about how he could kind of be an asshole. Um, Jim Shooter's baby was Marvel's New Universe from 1984,
okay.
most notably for wiping Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania off the map. For some reason, I can't remember. He had Jim Shooter had some reason why he hates Pittsburgh. I can't remember offhand. And
So he took the opportunity.
yeah, with New Universe, he wiped Pittsburgh off the face of the map, and it was called the Pit in the New Universe.
Dang.
Yeah,
That's insane.
but this is a dude who got his start writing comic books when he was still in high school as a teenager.
Yeah.
So long career. Yeah.
Okay. Saint, any thoughts on Jim Shooter passing?
Oh, absolutely. Listen, I can't listen. I can't speak for Runes Crier on this, but I will say this. Growing up in the 80s during my teenage years, understand Jim Shooter was the fucking man. You understand what I'm saying? You have to consider Days of Future Past. He was editor
That was him,
during that era.
Yep.
Okay.
The fucking start of the with the gems. The reason why we have the
Gems,
quote
yeah.
unquote fucking what do you call it, the what they call the stones or whatever the
Infinity Stones?
the Infinity Stones. I'm sorry,
Yeah.
we called them the Infinity Gems. Okay,
Yeah, I know,
Jim
I've read those.
Shooter. Jim Shooter was probably one of the greatest Marvel editors. Yes, he was an asshole. A lot of people did not like him in the industry. But I
Right.
will tell you this. Marvel was on top of the game
Yeah.
during the 80s, especially when it came to Spider-Man, when it came to this fucking Marvel Superhero Secret Wars.
Yep.
Okay?
Secret
The
Wars,
West
I
Coast
think, maybe.
the West Coast Avengers. I mean,
Yeah. Jim Shooter. Jim
shit,
Shooter
man,
wanted to.
I'm not hating.
Yeah,
I'm not
Jim
hating.
Shooter tried to bring back in the '60s when he first started doing writing. He tried to bring the Marvel sensibility to DC stories, and DC was like, "No, we're not having any of that." But then he got in on the Marvel staff, and led them throughout late '70s, '80s. Like Saint was mentioning before, the baton got handed off to Tom DeFalco.
Right.
In the 90s. But yeah, all the iconic stuff in the 80s, he was the editor on all that stuff.
Wow.
And he wasn't an asshole the same way that Stan Lee was an asshole.
Okay.
Yeah. Stan Lee was a bigger one when it came to
wasn't-
business.
He wasn't an asshole in the sense that a pedantic editor can be an asshole,
Okay. Fair
and
enough.
really demanding, and wasn't able to express those demands in very good ways. Mr. Eric Larson posted on his social media. It wasn't his rejection letter, but it was a rejection letter that somebody that he knew had received from Jim Shooter. And it basically just said, "Dear, close but no cigar." Jim Shooter.
Wow.
That was it. No feedback, no nothing.
Close but no cigar. I ain't got time to be training these
What?
motherfuckers.
Yeah, and Eric Larson got some of those, and when he resubmitted a reworked story, Jim said, "Closer, still no cigar." No feedback, no nothing on what could be done to improve. And I mean, in a sense, you understand because you just had so much stuff to get through that you just didn't have time. But at the same time, a little bit of feedback might be nice.
Nice, right. Well, and here's the thing about it, and I'll kind of close this up on this note.
Yeah.
It reminds me of there's an episode of Young Sheldon. I don't know if you guys ever watched that show. I've watched the whole series from beginning to end. But there's an episode where Lance Riddick is on it, right? And he's playing an engineering teacher for Sheldon. And Sheldon keeps bringing him, like they are working on this project with a bridge. You got to calculate things, wind speed, all that. And Sheldon brings him the project. He looks at it, he goes, and rips it up, hands it back to him. And then there's just a montage of 5 or 10 times that he keeps coming back. Like, here you go. Guy's like, that's nice. And at one point, Sheldon even stops him and goes, God, if you're gonna rip it, at least use a straight ruler and do it that way. And he's like, oh, okay. Takes a straight ruler, rips it in half, hands it back to him. Never tells him what's wrong. Like the kid's going crazy because he's like, what's wrong? What am I doing wrong that I can fix? And the guy's just like, you'll figure it out. Like, it's just like, yeah, that's what I imagine a lot of writers that wrote to him, like in that time, feeling like, just like, but can you tell me how I can make it better? Like, point me in the right direction, maybe? I don't know. Anyway, so all right, so that's it about Jim Shooter. Now we'll get to the close of this segment and the answer to our question. The question that was, what 90s cartoon featured 3 superhero sisters created with sugar, spice, and everything nice? Yes, Tinkers, you got it right as well. So, and I'm pretty sure Saint and Rune Scryer know this answer, which is
Powerpuff Girls.
Powerpuff Girls. That is correct. So, pat yourself on the back if you got it right. Shake your finger in the mirror if you got that one wrong.
As opposed to the Rowdy Rough Boys who were made with snips, snails, and puppy dog tails.
Always forget that. Oh, man. All right. So you know what that leads us into, y'all. That leads us into my favorite segment. All right, and then for another easy question, and I do this easy because, you know, our old brains. No, I'm messing with it. All right, for another easy question on a pop culture quiz, what 90s cartoon starred a wallaby named Rocco and featured characters like Heifer and Filbert? Answer in the comment section. We'll talk about it afterwards at the end of the segment. Here we go. Don't worry, as we continue to do this, we'll get the questions that'll stump you. Trust me, I got a few of them I've already looked at. I'm just not bringing out the big guns yet. We'll ease you into this. All right, so Marvel's Ironheart finale dropped last week. I don't think they've done this with a series for a long time where they dropped the first 3 episodes week 1 and the next 3 episodes week 2.
Yeah, I think that the problem is that Marvel's still trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work when it comes to their streaming.
Yeah.
Because Bob Chapek, the guy who was previously in charge and oversaw the implementation of Disney Plus and all these, limited series on Disney Plus, he was fudging the books when it came to Disney Plus to make himself look good.
To make himself, okay.
Which is why his ass got canned and they brought back Bob Iger a couple years back. So all of a sudden it's like, well, shit, we're not doing as good as we thought we were doing. We're not doing, numbers weren't what we thought they were. So how is this going to work? And that gets into some of my issues with Ironheart, which I love the series. Doesn't mean that I didn't have issues with it,
Yeah,
but
of course.
we'll get into that.
Okay, so Saint, you've seen everything but the last episode, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
you saw the build up, you saw everything with Dormammu.
Yeah.
No.
I'm like, what the hell was that? Like,
Well,
you're
it was-
bringing tech and magic together, and I mean, I
Right.
get it. You know, it's those, you know, and I mean, excuse me if I mean, listen. Some parts of it was good.
yeah.
Right.
Okay, some parts of it was good, but then it's like, you know, the stain thing. That's kind of.
I kind of liked it. I liked it better than
The
Obadiah's
stain
arc.
angle, yeah, but
Yeah,
the stain
now-
angle.
Now, here's the thing, though. We're going to get into that.
Yeah.
But let me just point out one. This was one of my problems with Ironheart. You got tech and magic combined. Cool. Riri, why the fuck aren't you dialing up Shuri?
Yeah,
Once you figure
okay.
that out.
I will go with you there. I will go with you
Okay.
there. It, like the
Yeah.
explanation for why they gave for why she didn't want to involve Shuri and the Wakandans, like it didn't make sense. Especially once you got to the point where she realized she was fucking with magic.
I mean,
Like I
it was
feel you.
already
I
it
feel
was
you.
already pushing it, where Riri's talking about she doesn't have the funding.
Yeah.
Do you not know a princess on your intellectual level that is from the most advanced and wealthiest nations in the world?
Well, if anything, like me and my daughter actually talked about this while we were watching the shows because she didn't understand. She was like, she kept expecting her to call up Shuri. And I'm like, you know, and I'm like, yeah. I'm like, by the time we got to episode 5, 6, I was like, and she was like, I need to build the new suit. And I'm like, shouldn't that be a do? Hey, Shuri, what's up?
Yeah.
Yeah, if I send you the specs, can I get a like Wakandan version of my or what is it, vibranium version of my suit? Like
Yeah. It's
tomorrow, day after
Yeah.
tomorrow, like you know what I'm
Well,
saying? Like
this DHL.
I want to interject here, gentlemen, and you know, I don't want to, you know, spoil the soup, but you got to think about the actions that took place after Wakanda Forever, because
Yeah.
we really don't know where the fuck Shuri was going.
right.
You know what I'm
right.
saying? So we, you know, and then on
don't know
top
where
of that,
she-
we
but-
don't
but
know
still,
how much
couldn't she-
time, how much time has passed between that movie and this series. So
but she could still call up Ramonda, Queen Ramonda. I think probably.
No.
no,
remember, she
Queen
died in
Ramonda
Wakanda-
was dead.
remember she died in
You're
Wakanda
right,
forever.
You're right. Sorry. Okay.
No, but she
But-
could have called. I'm pretty sure she probably has a direct link to speak to somebody like the head of Dormalaji.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she has access to her. Like when she was dealing with 4 criminals, all like super villains in their own right, basically. Like
Right.
she could have called up like, "Hey, yo, can I get like 1 or 2 random? Like I know y'all got sleeper cells. Like
Yeah.
I know y'all got sleeper cells in the U.S. Like can y'all like send somebody over my way right quick?"
But now, this is not humble brag.
Yeah.
Just me speaking as a formerly gifted kid.
Yeah.
I can understand Riri's mindset in the sense that there is a very strong, I'm going to do it myself.
Yes.
And you
That's
guys,
the theme throughout the entire show.
you guys saw this with me with the comics, where Jamil was saying, you know, maybe somebody could write, you plot it out and then you can get someone to write. No, I'm going to do it myself.
Yeah.
There's that mental,
Yeah.
thing of having to do it yourself. having to make it all on your own, or it doesn't really count. So, yes, in that
Hold on.
respect, sure, Riri focusing solely on solving her own problems makes a sense. And yeah, what were you saying?
Oh, yeah, no, I was gonna make mention, folks. Sorry, just being a little outside, but damn, we got a hype train, which is at 50%. Thank you very much, and thank you Tech for the subs. Definitely appreciate that. We had 6 in, and now we have a 7th. Thank you everybody for subbing with us. You know, we're
Thank you.
just trying to give you guys the entertainment we want you to give out. So we got a whole night of stuff. So please continue on with the show. Thank you very much for the subs.
All right.
Tech, you're awesome, dude. You're awesome.
Now, here's something.
Let me get back to what Saint was talking about with Ezekiel Stain. And
Yeah, that's a bad angle to me, man.
well, here was the thing. Originally, Ironheart was. I've heard this rumor that originally because Ironheart was supposed to come out before Captain America: New World Order.
Yeah.
That was supposed to set up Ezekiel Stain as the source of the Serpent Society tech, because in the comics, Serpent Society is like 90% cyborgs. So that's where they're getting all their tech from, was
It's from
Ezekiel
Stain.
Stain. Right.
Gotcha.
But again, because Disney's kind of, juggling spinning plates and at this point trying to recover from everything and trying to figure out the way forward, that kind of got fumbled along the way, which necessitated all the reshoots for Captain America: New World Order, which causes the disconnect with Ezekiel Stain and Ironheart.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's the thing for me. I understand all of that. I have to play. It's not playing devil's advocate. I'm just on the other side of the board. I love the Ezekiel Stain. Like, I love the way that they introduced him. I love the way that they revealed that he was him. I love the tie back to the original Iron Man. So it's not necessarily that I disagree with you guys that it couldn't have been done better. It's just that for me, it was a part of the show that I enjoyed. Especially what my favorite part is when Hood takes the primary mansion and he's forcing Stain to her, like, beat people up, and the whole time you're hearing Stain like, I'm sorry, like, he really wants me to do this, in practicality, how they executed it was fine for me, but I understand your guys' discrepancies with what they did with it.
I'm not complaining necessarily. I'm just could have used a little bit more filler in the okra, in the gumbo is what I'm saying. It's still good. It's fantastic. Just not quite as good as it could have been if everything came together the way that it was originally supposed to.
And I feel you. Now, I'm sorry, brother, but we kind of have to talk about this because we can't talk about this finale without talking about this. And this is from the episode, unfortunately, that you did not get to see. The reveal of who the kind of greater power was behind the Hood's hood, I liked.
It ain't Dormammu.
It ain't Dormammu. They led us down that road, and I appreciated it because that was what made the reveal so beautiful. Is that they led us completely down this road that this was going to be Dormammu.
I will take the hit.
And it is, and instead they give us
so many names.
Yes, they give us who we've been asking for. We thought that he was going to be the dude in WandaVision. We thought that the brother was him, and then there's been several other shows that we thought it was this character, and it wasn't.
Who was it?
Finally we get him, and God bless Sacha Baron Cohen because he gave us a beautiful Mephisto. It was amazing.
Are you serious?
Yes.
We are serious like a heart attack, dude.
Yep. And according to him, Dormammu couldn't wipe his ass.
Yep.
uh,
And um, and you know, dude was evil because they're eating pizza in Chicago that's not pan and it's cut in squares.
yeah, yeah.
When he's first tempting Parker Robinson,
Uh,
Parker Robbins, with the hood, and
uh,
um, yeah,
I
no,
don't know.
but here's the thing though.
That's more on demon level though with Mephisto.
Mephisto,
That
yeah.
you know that's more of I would have thought that maybe even an introduction to Nightmare, but you
Yeah.
know, because that's more of Dormammu's, you know, in that role, in that aspect. But
Yeah.
Mephisto, that's demon level. That's Ghost Rider shit.
But
Like, yeah.
but here's the thing though. We got Zelma Stanton introduced, and now there's talk about a follow-up series for Strange Academy.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
she's
that-
a major part of that comic.
And the way we closed it with
Yeah.
her coming in and
Yeah.
with the hood
So-
coming into her like candy shop and
Yeah.
asking about magic.
Yeah, yeah. So, so
We could see a lot
Hood,
of
Hood, Hood dethrones his dad. I
Yep.
mean, we saw that in episode 5. That this
Right.
is all because Daddy didn't love me.
yeah, which
So-
turned out to be a very disappointing storyline
Right.
for such a what could be a major villain.
Right. Well, it is actually pretty deep because you know we see in episode 6 how Parker gets the hood and everything in that, and we see exactly what Mephisto promises,
Yeah,
which is you know he's like, "Don't fuck around with me. What do you want?"
yeah,
And Parker says, "I want to be rich. I want to be filthy, stupid, greasy, rich." And
Uh.
Mephisto gives him exactly what
buddy.
he wants.
Yep.
And part of episode 6 is the opening to the title credits. It's just Parker and Ezekiel at the long ass mansion dining table with food everywhere on there, just for those two.
Yep.
And Parker realizes he's got everything he asked for, and it's completely fucking hollow.
Hollow. Yep.
Because he has no, the only person he has sharing it with him is a guy he has to command
Sure. Yep.
to stay. Yep. And
Because John was taken. Yep.
yep, because John was taken because he burned all his bridges with everyone else. And so he starts yelling at his patron
Mm.
and saying, you know, I want more. And Mephisto just says, if you can keep the cloak, I'll give you more.
Yep.
And
But that was
Really?
another one of my
yeah,
that was another one of my favorite scenes though, is when the hood started bucking up at
Yeah.
Mephisto, and Mephisto was like, watch how you talk to me, son.
Big
Like
boy, yeah.
yeah, he had to remind him like on multiple occasions, like, watch your tone. But yeah, like the reveal of it being Mephisto was great because they didn't come right out and tell you it was Mephisto. You see him multiple times in episode 6 before he sits down with Riri and reveals who he is.
Riri takes the cloak and hood away from Parker, and Parker's just like, no, you don't know what it feels like. And it's like, yes, I do.
Yeah.
Because she knows how empty it is. And so he goes down, and this is all taking place in the pizza headquarters.
Yeah.
And she goes down and finds Mephisto sitting at one of the booths enjoying a pie. and he tells her, come on down, come on over here, just have a slice, eat with me. We'll talk about everything. And Riri's all like, no, I don't want. It's like, really, do you need that Transformers cosplay? Snaps and the suit
Shoot.
disappears.
The shoot, yeah,
Yeah,
shoots her out and disappears. Yep.
yeah. And so they have the chat. And one of the things I really like is when he's stirring his coffee and he brings his spoon out of the coffee, you can briefly see his reflection in the spoon, and you can see his eyes are not normal, and even there's a red cast to his reflection.
Nice.
They went that far. Yeah.
I think that they've set themselves up for some fun with Mephisto.
Right. Yeah. And so he offers Riri the cloak, and Riri doesn't want it.
Yep.
And he's kind of like, that's okay. I got plenty of other people I can pawn this off on.
Yeah.
And he asks her, well, what do you want? And he looks inside and he sees what Riri wants, which is she wants Natalie back. And he's all like, I can do that. And the last thing, the cliffhanger before the after credit scene or the mid credit scene, the cliffhanger is it's Riri back, Natalie's alive, and Riri's hugging Natalie, and then you see the creeping corruption start coming up her arm or her cheek or something like that. And that's where they end the main story. And it's like, what? You're just going to leave us hanging like that? You mean we're not going to have Riri just saying no?
Nope.
Okay.
Which is where I thought they were going with it. I'll be honest. I genuinely thought that they were going with it to the point where Riri was going to say no to Mephisto, and she was going to tell him to go himself. But nope.
But
she gave him the she got her friend back.
Talking to a friend of the show, Jamil, about it a while back, last week. I understand his point, and this is before he saw the end. Riri need to get her hands dirty the same way that Tony, his hands were massively dirty before Iron Man. We don't see him going through the same stuff, but we're talking about he is literally a war criminal at the beginning of Iron Man. Right. He does not give a fuck until he personally gets affected by his own, or technically Stane's betrayal of him. But until he sees it all up close and personal, it's not real to him. Same with Riri. There's a lot of really great parallels with Riri and Tony in there that establishes the problems of a genius child, just in my opinion. It's just Tony was born into wealth and Riri was born without wealth. So she thinks that she needs wealth to achieve her next level. Right. But, and we all know from watching all three Iron Man films, like, no, I mean, Tony, not just built the first Iron Man suit in a cave with a box of scraps. In the third film, he takes out a mercenary unit after a 30-minute Home Depot shopping spree.
True.
Okay. True, but here's the thing: Riri doesn't really realize that second part. She just knows the legend of Tony Stark. She doesn't know the reality. And so,
would you say that she's
underestimating her? She's automatically underestimating her own capabilities and downgrading them, and thinking that she needs money is the final piece that she needs.
I think something was missed there.
Giving her upbringing.
I didn't read what she was saying as she sees money as the end all be all, because the woman built a suit that's damn near as advanced as the Mark I with the parts from a car. like
Yes,
with the parts
but
from an old car, like not even like a newer car, like a
Yeah.
part from the car from the 1960s, and
But
bent the
70s.
metal and made it, or
70s,
70s
but
and bent
right.
the metal and made it. So hold on. My point is, I think her thing was, yes, I could do what Tony did if I had Tony's money. But I don't have Tony's money, so I'm making the best of what I have. I didn't see it necessarily as an envious thing as much it was just kind of, hey, it's kind of like me saying, like, you know, I could solve the whole school fucking lunch problem, you know, with the old money if I just won the lotto, if I just had $100 million. That's not me being envious of people who have $100 million. That's just me saying, hey, I could do that. I could do that and be that charitable. And that's what I saw it as. Go on.
And I'm not saying that it's envious.
Yeah.
I'm saying that is Riri's insecurity. That is her not knowing her own worth. She knows she's smart. She knows she can do this, but because of her circumstances in there, she is saying she's hustling.
Yeah.
She's hustling because she doesn't have the generational wealth. She doesn't have the connections that come with that. She doesn't have all that stuff. And so she's seeing that I need all this to do what I want. And she's not focusing on the path that she can take without having all that to build up to all that. She wants it all now.
All right.
Because
So we
wants
got
it, yeah, it's
okay. No, I can see what you're saying. One last note.
and this
on
is me looking outside in, but
right, no problem. I'll say from Tech Tinkers, he said, did she build a miniature arc reactor in a cave with a bunch of scraps? She isn't better than Tony, maybe hotter, but not better.
no, she didn't. No, she didn't. She built a magic reactor with a 72.
With a 72 like Chevy car.
Okay.
But all right.
Yeah.
All right. So we'll get back to we'll probably talk more Ironheart down the road.
Yeah.
All right. So the next subject we have for Pop Culture Corner is this villain specialist David
Dashmalian, yeah.
Dashmalkian is set to play M. Bison.
Dashmalian, yeah.
Dashmalkian in the M. Bison in the upcoming live action Street Fighter movie.
As we know,
people would
or
know
as
him
we know,
from the. Go
well,
ahead.
Suicide Squad. He was the Spot in James Gunn's Suicide Squad, and he was the tech guy in Ant-Man. Baba Yaga, come in.
Baba Yaga, Baba Yaga.
Wait a minute. Whoa. You mean seriously?
Yeah,
In
Hey man, if Raul Julia could do it, I could see it.
exactly.
Okay,
Now,
okay. There's two things that's okay. For me,
Magic.
and I'm already on board. If he's not super big or anything like that, because I'm sorry, M. Bison is a big ass motherfucker. Okay.
Yeah, if you go
He's
go with
big.
the newer Street Fighters, yeah.
Yeah.
Like in the
No,
older
no,
Street
no,
Fighters,
no,
M. Bison
no.
was kind of toned
No.
down. He wasn't
I mean-
as like that.
I mean, he was. I mean, with the old games and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, originally, no. And Bison was always
Shout out Jay to the
a
road.
big.
Thanks
Was
for
always a
joining.
big dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not.
Squad up.
But Raul Julia wasn't exactly a big dude
Yeah.
in the first one, and he pulled it off perfectly. And
It depends on how
okay.
they write the character.
right.
Okay, and
let me
what you call it? What's his name? He was in damn. What was he? He played Neil. What you call it? Played M. Bison in the Legend of Street Fighter.
Neil
But that
McDonough?
doesn't mean Neil McDonough.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like
Damien Dark.
get the fuck out of here. No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Dum Dum
M.
Dugan.
Bison is supposed
Well-
to be a big dude.
Yeah.
On the back of this, I also wanted to announce that we already talked about it a little bit last week. We have Joe Anai as Akuma, and it's just been announced that Cody Rhodes will be playing Guile.
Yep. Now I think
So-
it's rumored still that Cody Rhodes is still rumored for the guy. but I think that's a good choice for it.
Yeah.
But yes,
Yeah.
but David that Somalian, let me correct myself. He was playing Polka Dot Man in Suicide Squad. The spot is Marvel. Okay.
Okay.
But he also played Peter DeVries in Dune,
Okay.
Baron Harkonnen's advisor.
Right.
And he also played the talk show host, Jack Delroy, in the fantastic Late Night with the Devil.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
dude knows how to bring it. Like, I agree with Saint, he's not that physical. But then again, Raul Julia wasn't exactly physical. They did a pretty good job with the suit and wire food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's another. Here's another thing though. He can bulk up. I won't say he can bulk up enough to look like video
Yeah.
game
Bison.
I mean,
M.
no,
Bison.
I mean we're not gonna be like ridiculous, like
Yeah, but he
like
could,
anime
but-
big G's.
But protein shakes and a good workout regimen can get him up to a decent size.
He's
where
gonna
when he
look-
steps out, he's
gonna look
still like
swole, especially with like 50 cents, 50 Cent, with Jason Momoa, with
Yeah.
Roman,
yeah.
and with Cody.
Bunch of people
all
there
on the
that
set.
took it.
Bunch of people on the set can get him weight training.
Yep. So
Okay.
this movie, I'll be honest with you. If everybody that's rumored to play in this movie and the roles that they're supposed to play are actually playing it, I will definitely be going to see this movie
Yep.
when it comes out.
Yep.
Like, I look forward to it 100%. Yo,
Okay,
50
I can dig it.
So, like I said, it all depends. If they actually have even though, don't get me wrong, really the thing that made the original Street Fighter movie so appealing to me is that it wasn't, outside of Raul Julia and it wasn't a lot of really super big name stars. There were actors who went on to become super big name people, but at the time in which they did Street Fighter, it wasn't like this mega all-star cast.
It didn't.
So-
I mean, it didn't have to be. It didn't really
It
have to
was-
be
yeah, it was really
an
just
all-star mega cast. It was
Yeah.
just. It was just a movie
Jean-Claude Van
that.
Damme and Raul
Yeah.
Julia. Those were the only real big stars.
Yeah, well, I mean, there was Grandel Bush as Balrog. There was Kylie Minogue as
As
Cammy. And I mean, and like I said, I get it, but that movie, the origin of like Blanca, that was a little ridiculous. And then Dalzim was he was a scientist. Like, get the fuck out of here. He was a holy man. You know what I mean? Like, they kind of messed up. Fucking Zangief was he was the total idiot.
Just because you bad guy does not mean
and
you
Sagat
are
was a
bad
and Sagat
guy.
was a thug. He was a thug about money. Like, man, get the fuck out of here, man. If they do this movie correctly, I'll be halfway proud of it. But when it comes to movie games, when it comes to movie fighting games, I'm sorry, but none of them have. I mean, Mortal Kombat. This very
original.
last Mortal Kombat. No. This last Mortal Kombat had a little more done, but they dropped right into it when they found out that Carl Urban was getting ready to play Johnny Cage. They fucked it up for me right there, so we don't know. But the rest of these movies, Dead or Alive, King of the Fighters, Street Fighter, the Tekken movies, they all have sucked. Okay, they have all sucked.
I'm sorry.
Can we get some retribution? Come on, y'all. You guys already know that all the fighting games with these movies, okay, King of the Fighters sucked. Dead or Alive, I'll give it that because Kevin Nash was in it. You know what I'm saying? He played Bass. But the rest of this shit, come on, get the fuck out of here.
Come on, really. Dead or Alive, are you really watching for the fighting? Or are you
No, actually, yeah.
watching for jigglies?
I know I love the Dead or Alive fighting scenes. Like I actually really liked the Dead or Alive movie. I thought there was things that could have been done better. Just like I never bothered to watch. What was the other movie you mentioned? Like King of Fighters. I never bothered to watch that because I was never that big of a fan of the arcade game. But like I thought they did a decent job with Dead or Alive. Like I said, could it have been better? Easily. But I
Hey,
can,
B
I've
More.
yet to, hey, what's
Sorry.
up, B More?
Hey, B.
Thanks
Moore.
for joining us. I just like I don't know. Like I can't call it crap. Like I'm not sitting here saying it should have won an Oscar, but I can't call it like crap. Like it wasn't the worst movie I've ever seen. Like Double Dragon. The thing that saves that movie is that there's a bunch of people who are basically all stars in it. Like I want to say Robert Patrick's in it, or no, Neil McDonough is in it. What is it? Mike Dacascos is in it. Like it's got a bunch of stars in it. Like that's the only thing that really
Scott,
saves that.
well, if that movie was trash as fuck.
It was, but I'll still watch it. Now, see, here's where I flip Dave's thing in reverse. Now,
That's like
that's
the
a movie,
original Super Mario Brothers, dude.
That's a movie that I watch for Alyssa Milano. Like, I ain't gonna lie. Like, I watched the Double Dragon movie and I enjoy it because of Alyssa Milano. Like, she was gorgeous
Who
in it.
doesn't?
So yeah.
But
Spawn should
Spawn
have
should have
won
won
an
an
Oscar.
Oscar. Hey, man, you're doing too much. You're doing too much, bro. We love you, Tech Tinkers, but you're doing too much. Michael Jai White for Best Actor.
that's some Hulk level heavy lifting there, man. That's Hulk and Secret Wars heavy lifting. You got an entire mountain range you're holding up. But
Hey, Batman and Robin, that movie is cringe. Okay? That's a movie that should not have existed.
Is that the one where he says, "Holy
With
rusted
George
metal,
Clooney.
Batman"?
No. No. That was the one with George Clooney. That's the
That's
one that
Alicia
actually killed
Silverstone.
That's the one that actually killed the franchise
Yeah.
for almost a decade.
now,
Oh man,
Son of a
but
bitch.
now, getting back to fighting game movies,
yes.
as Master Yoda said, there is another. There is
What's that?
one.
The animated Street Fighter was
No. There is one fighting game franchise that we can pin our hopes to that has not had an adaptation yet.
And what is that?
Killer Instinct.
True. I would love to see Killer Instinct in live action. I would definitely like to see that.
I
They
don't
ever do
know.
that? You ever do that? Give that man his motherfucking movie check. I like that idea. All right. So we only got two more.
Combo breaker. No.
Sure.
No.
We're gonna jump. We got two more subjects before we're gonna jump out of. We're almost out of time with Pop
Yeah.
Culture Corner. So let's do number one, a positive one. A canceled Star Wars show renewed for another season. Reports say it is being reported according to this article on BamSmackPow.com that the Obi-Wan series may be getting a season 2.
Yep.
So, gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Because I thought they kind of wrapped up Obi-Wan pretty nice. So I don't
Right,
really
Yeah.
see a
exactly.
reason
Like
for
what?
it,
What?
but
Like what
what
the fuck was
more
he
can
gonna
be
be
told?
doing?
What
Yeah,
more
like-
can be
I don't know.
told?
Yeah.
The only thing that I can see is like maybe do a short story where Obi-Wan meets up with Ahsoka for a little bit of time.
it's more of his stories from between Return of the Jedi.
Yeah,
And,
and The New Hope. Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I can kind of see that. But then again, we already have the Obi-Wan Darth Maul showdown in Rebels.
Right.
There's really not much more that can be done, cramming into that storyline since, Obi-Wan's got to be babysitting Luke. Okay?
During that
You
time,
know-
yeah.
We saw how much of a hassle it was when he did Adventures in Babysitting with Leia.
Yeah.
Okay, Luke's a handful himself. So take your eye off him for a moment. He's going to be speeding down Baker's Canyon into Tusken Raider territory, or it's just
It's a little too much.
it is
Like I
a
said,
little too much.
But I'll give them a chance. If they do it, I'll give them a
Yeah,
chance.
I,
I'm not gonna
I'll
lie.
check it out. But this, there's things that are obvious money grabs, and then there are things that, hey, I've got a fantastic idea that ties in with this that is a money grab, but it's a justifiable one.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
There's nothing justifiable for this one. Let's
Right.
just call a spade to spade, okay? We don't know. First of all, we don't know where the series could possibly take place, except on Tatooine, okay?
Yeah.
Because right before you get to New Hope, like, what the fuck is really gonna go on? Is there some kind of event? I mean, nobody has the idea that Luke, I mean, Vader isn't even going to be looking for Luke, so he's
Right.
kind of like kept him out of his mind. So, how many years before A New Hope takes place is this story supposed to
Right.
take place?
Now-
Is it going to set up for something? We
Right.
don't know.
Granted, the first Obi-Wan season, the first season for Obi-Wan, it was kind of like, what are they going to do with it? And it turned out fine. It turned out good.
It turned out
It
good.
wasn't great. It wasn't great. Caused a little bit of a continuity issue in that Leia would have known who Obi-Wan was, but oh well. Continuity error in Star Wars. Oh my God! Ah,
I feel you.
Right.
All right, gentlemen, and we're unfortunately ending on a sad note.
yeah.
Michael Madsen, for those of
Yeah.
us old enough to remember him from Reservoir Dogs,
Kill
those who may be
Bill.
a little bit younger remember him from Kill Bill 2. He was in a lot. Man, this is one of those dudes that's been in a lot of, but he
He
passed
was
away at the age.
a great character actor.
Yes,
Listen.
he was.
Fantastic.
Listen,
Long.
Mr. Blonde, Mr.
Oh,
Blonde,
I'll be
in
right back.
in Reservoir Dogs,
Yep.
like that motherfucker was
Savage.
yeah.
He was
Like,
so
you know.
savage he hadn't discovered fire yet.
I will say this: one of my very favorite scenes in Reservoir Dogs, when he was doing his thing with the song "Stuck in
Yeah.
the Middle with You," "Stuck in the Middle with You" by Steelers Wheel, and the way he was dancing around,
Oh yeah.
doing his
You were-
thing before he sliced off that cop's ear.
Yep.
Keep it going.
Yeah. It's just like. Yeah, and then, can you hear me?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, dude, he was a great heavy, whether it was good guy heavy or bad guy heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in Species, which was an otherwise really crappy film, Michael
Film that
Madsen.
made no damn sense.
No.
Yeah, Michael Madsen was great in that. He had the perfect retorts. Where it's like, where they're talking about how they made Syl a female because they wanted it to be docile and controllable, and he's like, "You haven't met many women, have you?"
Yeah.
He was great in everything that he did.
He was also in. To his credit, he was also in the James Bond movie "Die Another Day" as the CIA counterpart of M, and of course, he had to play that tough guy role, even that part. But also, he did make it into the digital realm, as with the game Crime Boss, Rockay City.
Yep. GTA
Um,
3.
Yep.
Yeah, that was also. Oh, and he also played.
The Dishonored.
He was also in Driver. He was also in Driver 3
Yep.
for the PlayStation. I think for the PlayStation 2. So, he's done his due diligence with digital game. He played
And
the villain like a great villain, great character actor, the sister or the brother of Virginia Madsen.
yeah, and
Yeah.
her post about his passing is heartbreaking
Yeah.
because it's all about her missing her big brother,
Oh.
and Yeah.
Well, God rest him. God rest his soul, and I hope that he's sitting on a cloud somewhere because that man brought entertainment to all. There
Yep.
were a couple of more subjects I was going to do. We'll
Oh,
push
there
them
was
to
one
next
other
week.
person. There was
So
one other person I wanted to
was.
admit. I wanted to go ahead and give acknowledgement to Julian McMahon.
Oh yeah,
Um,
that just
he
happened.
also passed. A lot of people play. He played the role.
It was a
He
Nip
was in
Tuck.
Charmed.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, he was also in
Charmed.
Charmed. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
also.
He
And
was
Doctor
what's her
Doom.
name's boyfriend, huh? His
Yeah.
Piper's boyfriend. Yeah.
And
No,
Doctor
no,
Doom
the part
in the first.
of Alyssa Milano.
Milano's. Yeah,
Yeah.
Les
That part.
Milano's character. Sorry, I
And
forgot.
then he also played the role of Victor Von Doom in the Fantastic Four movies.
Yeah.
Both
In
In
the
the
movies.
original
first couples, yeah.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
So,
insane. They were all in their 50s and 60s. It's not even like they were like 70, 80, like
no.
Betty White
Hey,
age when they
man.
passed. Wow.
Yeah.
That's life smacking you in the face. All right. So, first up, we have the answer to the pop culture quiz. Gentlemen, as we all know, Rocco's Modern Life was the 90s cartoon starring a wallaby named Rocco and featured characters like Heifer and Filbert.
See, now you know what you could have asked
What's that?
just and gotten the same answer.
What's that?
What was the Nickelodeon cartoon that had the main character unknowingly working for a phone sex line?
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that. I watched episodes here and there of Rocco's Modern Life. I don't remember much of it. Oh man, that's insane. All right, so that's going to close us down for Pop Culture Corner for this week. We are going to come back and we're going to talk a little bit of Raw and SmackDown from this week.
Yeah. Just to one of the things we didn't get to, but you can find on the web on our Facebook page, the trailer for Edgar Wright's The Running Man with Glenn Powell.
Yeah.
Check it out. It is going to be insane, and not the '80s insane of Arnold Schwarzenegger. No, this is
Okay.
yeah.
Dave approves already. So that's a movie for us to see. All right. So like I said, coming up after the break, we got SmackDown Alley and we got some Visia game talk. But for right now, we're going to take us a break because, running for an hour straight, man. I'm messing with y'all. We'll be back right after the break. Enjoy. Oh, yeah, where's it at? There it is. Yeah, this time didn't have the commercial fired up. Sorry, y'all. That's on me. 6:29. Normally I have it pulled up, but then we had an episode where it all messed up on me. So we'll be back, y'all. Peace.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down. Everybody fall through. These beats gon' pound, waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfolk. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
You got to keep it lovely. You got to keep it. Keep it. You got to keep it lovely. Success comes right after the struggle. I ain't even giving up on whatever I wanted. The tragedies I've seen, I can't even stomach. Most of y'all weak as shit and would've started running. Every time I make it back to the crib, I'm thankful the Most High let me see all of it. Grateful I'm lovely, and I'm being real with this. Please don't judge me. I'ma stay on my shit. I'ma keep a grind mode button, push it, make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose camera, switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
They say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
You got to unmute your mic, sir.
Oh, no unmuting. No, they must read our lips. That's the new format of the show.
Fuck all
We
that,
ain't
bro. That's
unmuting
not
nothing.
happening.
We talk, they just read our lips. Like,
It doesn't work that way, sir. It does not work like that.
The newest version of the Cheap Pop podcast for deaf. Just read our lips. There you go.
I just found out that there's not just American sign language. There's apparently Black Sign Language.
And it's done slightly differently as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've it's a guy that I watch, a Gitchy guy. I can't remember his name, but I can't pronounce his name. But he's really good with the etymology of words, and he has a video out explaining that. All right, so let's get back to by starting with, no, actually, we'll wait till SmackDown Alley for that. One last thing I wanted to mention, gentlemen, talk about it for 2 minutes. I always forget we have this part of the block to kind of rally up whatchamacallit. We'll get to the whatchamacallit as well, but Dave just sent me something in the group chat that had me dying about this exact thing, and that's what triggered me thinking about it. Is that he sent me a scene. Is that the actual dialogue for that scene?
No, of course not.
Okay.
So let's give everybody context. So apparently, Chuck E. Cheese's is going to be opening up. They're basically they're doing their own version of Dave and Buster's.
Yes.
They're going to be creating adult arcades where you don't have to deal with the screaming kids if you don't want to.
It's called Chuck's Arcade.
Yeah. So basically, literally the same week that this story hit, just a few days before it hit, I came across a picture meme. It's a Star Trek Deep Space Nine one, and it's Cisco and Quark having a conversation. And it's Cisco, you mean Ractigino? And Quark's like, no, the Rat Casino is the most successful gambling establishment in human history, and I want to recreate it. So if you just give me access to Earth history files, Cisco, the answer is no. But I'm just curious. What the hell are you even talking about? Come on, you must have heard of the Rat Casino. All the games were rigged, so even if you won, they wouldn't give you real money. They paid you in mini counterfeit bills instead. And then they assimilated Borg werewolves that jump scare you if you tried to leave. Cisco's like,
What are you
but,
talking
yeah, the
about?
Quark's like, pizza! They sold used pizza! Chuck E. Cheese, that's the one.
Is going to.
Okay.
Nah, I don't think. Who knows? Like, he's Tech Tinkers brought up that yes, Chuck E. Cheese is not only rebuilding all their stores, they're expanding their brand. Just as Dave & Buster's is going downhill. Apparently, he honestly doesn't think the mouse stands a chance. I think the nostalgia aspect may make it a good idea for a couple of years. Just people who used to love to go to Chuck E. Cheese as a kid, going to this arcade and having evidently it's doing okay though. They already have one open in Kansas City, Missouri. Features a full menu, original artwork on the walls, and the company said no two locations will be exactly alike. So what it'll probably be like, and I have a little bit of personal experience working with a company like this. If you've ever been into an Applebee's or multiple Applebee's, the artifacts on the wall at every Applebee's cater to the local schools and like sports teams and all of that. And same thing with Buffalo Wild Wings. The jerseys you see on the wall will be related to the local teams. Like, and so Chuck E. Cheese is probably doing something along those lines, where the decor of the thing is catered to the town that they're from. You know, so I can see that it works. It works for other stores. It works for Applebee's. It works for Buffalo Wild Wings.
Look,
Adult Rat Store.
look here, y'all. Listen.
I don't think they'll have the animated characters there, Tech Tinkers.
Yeah. well, here's something for you.
Yeah.
Back in the early '90s, there was a franchise or place called McDonald's, and they tried very hard to get an adult menu where, you know, fucking Ronald McDonald was kicking it at the club with grown-ups dancing like a clown, per se. Okay, per se. Yeah, you saw the commercial. Look here. Listen, I didn't even go to Chuck E. Cheese like that. The one Chuck E. Cheese that was in Hayward, California, right there by Toys R Us. I never went into one. Okay.
Yeah. McDonald's.
Never really. No. But seriously, like, why the hell would we want to take our childhood to our adulthood?
Yeah.
You know, like, seriously, like, Chuck E. Cheese. Oh yeah, we want to go ahead serve you a Mai Tai with a fucking cheese piece on it, man. Get the fuck out of here, man. I don't even want to hear that shit, bro. Look, if I want to listen, Dave & Buster's, I get it.
Yeah.
You understand there are screaming kids, but you know what? There's always the option of not being able to take those screaming kids.
Yeah.
Go be adults. Grow up. Do things like that. Those were adult games. You understand what I'm saying? Dave & Buster's was really never meant for kids. There's alcohol in there, man.
Well, here's the
Come
problem.
on, bro. Jeez.
Here's the only problem I have with that analogy. When Dave & Buster's first opened, I remember the first one that opened basically on our side was out in Milpitas. I remember that's the only one that was in the area, so that's where you had to go.
Yeah.
During the day, between the hours of like whenever they opened in the morning, 9, 10 in the morning, and like I want to say 8 to 10 at night, you could bring your kids into Dave and Buster's. But it was at 10, between that 10 and 2 hour, in which you could go into Dave and Buster's and you would not see a single child, or at least you should not have seen anybody under 21. But I believe that was more due to California law than it was due to how they wanted to run their store. Because you can't, in a drinking establishment, in order to carry a liquor license, you can't have anybody under 21 in there after a certain time. So I think but you could take your kids into Dave and Buster's between the hours of like whenever they open, 9, 10 o'clock in the morning.
But why would you want to? That's what I'm saying. I
agree with that.
Why would you want to? They're you know, going to Chuck E. Cheese, you know, with the kids, you know, blah, blah, blah. You got like maybe 5 adults with about 30 million screaming kids around there talking about pizza and all that kind of stuff. Don't get me wrong, when you're a parent, you have to commingle with, you know, with the kids and other adults, and, you know, it's either, you know, like your kid is messing with my kid and somebody might get into a fist fight in the parking lot. I've seen shit like that happen, especially in Hayward. But I don't want to go to somewhere fun where I'm taking where I have to be. I need to be irresponsible for about maybe 2 hours and do some drinking or something to that effect. I mean, come on, we all, especially adults that have kids. Come on now, Tech, you know, okay, Kevin, you know. Okay, when we did, but listen. No. What I'm saying is that, but you all know that when kids get on your nerves to a certain point, to a certain degree, and you know, if you can't get your hands on some good smoke, you know you're gonna want to get a drink, and I guarantee you. Come on now. I've been away from that shit for years, but I still deal with that to this day, in a sense. Can't speak on it who, but sometimes, every once in a while, I do like to have a drink or two, just so I can calm my mind. It is that serious. But yes.
Well, all right, so we'll pause it there, and we'll jump into our next category, which is... All right, so we are now back with a little smack down alley for that ass. But first, we'll open up with, of course, the pop culture quiz. Gentlemen, this one. What cartoon series featured a girl named Daria Morgendorffer and was a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead? Save your answers for after the thing. Let's get to Le Monday Night Raw. It was a great Raw, as far as I was concerned. I don't think, did we see any major comebacks? No. Penta and Sami Zayn took on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. New Day lost the tag team championships to Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley cut a promo. Gunther cut a promo. Let's see. Raw general manager Adam Pearce and general. Oh, they what was the announcement that they made? Oh yeah, so with the open, this is Raw, right? Yeah, the open Raw, we get Rhea Ripley and Io Sky setting up their match for Evolution, the pay-per-view coming up this weekend. Now, for me, this was a little bittersweet because I kind of liked the promo, but I kind of feel like both girls stumbled through it, and the crowd gave them nothing to work with. Like the crowd was just dead. So, like, I don't know. I like the idea of those two facing again, being that Rhea's never beaten her. But I don't know. That setup was kind of dead to me, being the last show before What do you gentlemen think of the segment between Rhea Ripley and Io Sky?
It was an either here or there, man. With this one, I mean, usually Rhea is always great on the mic. She is always great on the mic, you know. But this one kind of slipped through her fingers. This one, so yeah.
Dave, any thoughts?
I will admit I did not catch Raw this week. I've been too busy with a lot of stuff, and it kind of completely passed me by. So took me a couple days to recover from Tuesday night's Wu-Tang concert, but
Nice.
yeah, and that was a fantastic show.
Yeah, how was that, man? I gotta ask.
My first real experience to Wu-Tang, it was absolutely epic. It was and wasn't what I was expecting, you know, where Rakim comes out at one point and kind of leads us all in the entire audience in a positive breathing exercise. They had Capadonna. Run the Jewels was the opening act, so Killer Mike had a couple bits with them. They brought out Young Dirty Bastard for a couple of ODB's songs. The only thing that was kind of a little bit for me was with some of Dirty's songs. They had a big animated photo of Dirty on the main screen that was talking South Park style, like South Park Canadian style.
That's tight.
And rapping along. But other than that, you know, everyone looked fantastic. Meth was wearing Blazers jersey throughout the show.
Nice.
So yeah, a couple, and you know, I was able to. I even knew some of the songs I was going along with. So hey, it was fantastic. I did not stand out, and you know, it was my first time at the Moda Center also. So
Okay.
that
Okay,
was
right on.
it was really cool. Yeah, definitely might go up and catch a Warriors game next year sometime.
Heck yeah. It's like so the next match that we went on was Judgment Day defeating New Day. We got enough of that from Logan Paul, huh? Well, say but yeah. So Judgment Day winning the tag team titles off the New Day, giving Judgment Day basically all the gold now. Well, they really only have the men's and women's tag team titles and then the IC title.
Yeah.
So
They just don't have the big belt.
yeah, they don't have any of the big belts. So, but yeah, like I was happy with this match. Your thoughts, Saint, on Judgment Day getting back the titles?
Listen, the New Day, we kind of figured, hey, I think their time is finished for a little while. I think it's fixing to be some kind of a setup for the Judgment Day. I don't think they're going to have the titles that long, to be honest. I think it may be just a few weeks before SummerSlam, and somebody's going to come in there and just take them off their hands. You know what I mean?
Well, it's a nice thought. I still think they're holding them until SummerSlam at least.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Till
yeah.
SummerSlam.
Yeah, we may see them lose them at SummerSlam, but I don't know. The Judgment Day is getting hot again, so we may see them take a run with the titles for a little bit.
Damn, that team, you know what though, that faction has changed so much, and I think there's only one original member in there right now.
Well,
Finn
Finn is an
Balor.
original member. Yeah, Finn's the only original member left.
Yeah,
because the original Judgment Day was Finn. The original Judgment Day was Edge, Rhea Ripley, and Damian Priest, and then Finn Balor joined, and then Finn Balor took over from the original Judgment Day. There's nobody left.
Yeah,
Edge is gone. Damian Priest is gone. Rhea Ripley's gone. But from the first turn, when they turned on Edge, children. I want to say when they turned on Edge, they
what bastards.
that was that Judgment Day. There's only Finn Balor left.
Yeah.
Like the team since 2 years ago when the team was invented, like we've gone a long way. Adam Copeland ain't even with the company no more. He's Cope now in AEW. Anyway, after that we had a person that went to AEW and then returned, the one known as Miro or Rusev, take on Sheamus in what was a banger, a complete banger. Rusev I think Rusev is back. I think the man, as far as his looks better than ever.
Yeah.
Like the old Rusev kind of had a pot belly and he was definitely a super athlete, but he was definitely a lot more heavy set. And so like this guy's trim and so like, yeah, I like this Rusev. But Rusev got the win with the accolade, and yeah, I can see them doing great thing. I think they're building him up to a world heavyweight title shot. We may
Possibly.
see Rusev versus Gunther at next year's WrestleMania if Gunther keeps the belt.
Nah.
Well, you never know.
I don't know.
You never know. I honestly, at this point, if not Jay getting it back, I don't really see anybody that they're going to put the belt on right now. Like, that's the thing about it with outside of Gunther. Like, if not Gunther, then who? Like, outside of Jay. And I don't know if they're going to put it back on Jay. Even though we may see Jay versus Gunther again at WrestleMania. Or not WrestleMania, but SummerSlam.
Possibly.
Yeah. So.
I could still. I could still see it.
Yeah. Let's see. In between these matches, Nick Aldis and Adam Pearce told Finn Balor that Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez are going to defend their tag team titles.
Crap! I actually did. I remember that. I actually did watch Raw.
Are going to, I believe, at SummerSlam, and they're going to do it in a fatal 4-way. That the first team was announced that's going to be competing against them, and it will be. We'll talk about it a little bit later on SmackDown. Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair. So Gunther came out. Let's see. Oh, did you get to see the back scene segment with El Grande Americano? Like Chad Gable's hurt.
Yeah.
So he tells the Creed brothers to listen to Ivy, and he bounces, and this way, way, way taller version of El Grande Americano came out wearing the mask, looked at American Made, nodded, and walked off.
Yeah. I've seen memes where they're saying that that's Ludwig Kaiser.
Oh, that's great. Like, that is just awesome. I'm here for that.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Which, like I said,
that'll be good comedy.
That's been the my big complaint about the whole Grande Americano shtick, and I'm glad they're kind of doing it in there. Giving Chad Gable a little bit of wiggle room, shall we say?
Yeah.
And the potential to have both in one place, so it's not the obvious Clark Kent Superman thing.
Oh, yeah, we're at the curly, like I said, I can't wait to see where they're going with it. Triple H has a great mind for long-term storytelling, in my personal opinion. So, all right. So we also saw Bayley and Lyra Valkyria start going at each other. So now we're building for this triple threat match that I believe is coming. Matter of fact, no, it's been made official for Evolution that Becky Lynch will defend the women's the women's Intercontinental title against Lyra Valkyria and Bayley.
Yeah, in triple threat.
So this should probably be the blow off for the WrestleMania feud, this feud that started at WrestleMania with Becky taking out Bayley and then winning the tag team titles with Lyra Valkyria.
Right.
So I love this picture of Raquel Rodriguez. Hold on, I'll show you guys. Picture of Raquel Rodriguez. Who is obviously not very happy that Roxanne Perez is her new teammate with the women's tag team championship.
Look, Raquel just needs to try Roxanne's nuggets. Okay, that's what's
Is that so? She just needs to try her nuggets, huh?
that's right.
So that match ended in a draw, and then we had Sami Zayn and Penta taking on Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker in the main event, and
That was a nice match.
That was a nice match, and it ended with with the bad guys getting the win. But wow,
What's up with that, man? Like, dude, they were destructive. That like
it's
Bronson,
a balance. Go ahead.
yeah, Braun. That's the team of Braun.
Yeah, which really is not that threatening when you say it out loud. Oh, it's Braun.
Hey, you just better hope that they don't bring back Braun and have it be Braun. Okay.
Or
3X Braun.
or
Braun Strowman, Braun Breaker, and Braun. Ooh, that'd be hurt.
Braun.
B3B.
No.
Not a 3MB.
No, with the
3MB. 3B.
with the 2K, the new DLC pack
Yeah.
for WWE 25, bring in LeBron James, and then you have Braun.
And Braun.
Yo, dog, I heard you like Braun, so I added Braun to your Braun.
So you just killed the
can
whole
Braun
effect.
while you Braun. What?
You just killed the whole effect by bringing that clown in. That's classroom talk. No, but that was one hell of a match, and just to think about how these guys move around in there, like Sami Zayn was doing his thing, but gosh, they just got a little pissed off.
Yeah.
Yep. Sami Zayn and Penta had a great match. Just they had to keep with the Karrion Kross attack at the beginning of Raw.
That
where,
ass clown.
Yeah, Karrion Kross just completely, went to town on Sammy with a lead pipe and busted Sammy's ribs even more.
Than they were from the night before. Yep.
Yeah. So that was again, and it was what it was, and we'll see how things all come out in the wash, especially this coming Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, so just to break the monotony in between SmackDown and Raw, what we're going to talk about next is this. For those of you who do not remember the Iconics, God, I forgot what their individual names were, but they are making a return to the WWE. The report says WWE is reportedly considering the return of Cassie Lee and Jessica McKay, formerly known as the Iconics, for the upcoming Evolution 2 pay-per-view. According to the report, internal discussions have taken place about potentially featuring the former WWE Tag Team Champions at the all-women's event, now competing in TNA Wrestling as the inspiration. Lee and McKay remain one of the most popular women's tag teams in recent memory. So they may be making their return. Remember the TNA WWE portal, so they could be returning for the Evolution event. From there, I would love to see Mickie James return as well, but that's just because I've been in love with Mickie James for like 50 years. Anyway, longer than I've been alive, I've been in love with Mickie James. I just didn't know it till I saw her. Anyway, but yeah, this Evolution pay-per-view is looking like it's going to be pretty good. Like, I believe we're probably going to see if Bree actually signed, we're probably going to see the reintroduction of the Bella twins at the
Yeah.
pay-per-view as well.
I love to
So-
see AJ Lee.
Yeah, I just don't think that's going to happen.
I know.
Like, I don't.
know.
I don't. And the only reason why I don't think it's going to happen is because I think if there was a chance of it happening, there'd have been some sign from Punk. Like, I think the fact that he brings it up and that he talks about it is literally his way of trolling the audience, because he knows we all want AJ Lee to come back, and he knows she's not going to. Like I said, she's happy doing what she's doing. So, boo to that. Come back, AJ. We love you. Should I even take Ciara, but I doubt they'll bring her back. Paige, she looks so different now, too. Still beautiful. All right. So, SmackDown took place on 4th of July. And we had Tiffany Stratton select her Evolution opponent. Cody Rhodes win. What's up? Oh, we're gonna go for it from top to bottom. We're gonna hit everything.
Okay, because
Cody Rhodes celebrating winning King of the Ring. Jay Cargill celebrates winning Queen of the Ring, and we meet the newest member of the Solo Sikoa's family. They're no longer the Bloodline; they are Solo Sikoa's family.
My MFT.
Yeah, my MFT. I think, to be honest with you, I think it stands for Mother and Teen. But that's just me. I'm in the Mr. T type mode. All right, so we opened up with Cody coming out and basically announcing what everybody knew, which is that he's going to be facing John Cena at SummerSlam for the WWE Championship. And I think we're going to get another great match. What's up?
Well, one of the things I wanted to say before that was before when the whole show opened, that Solo Sikoa came rolling in.
Oh, yeah.
Talking about the 4th of July, and then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes Jacob Fatu.
Lighting up some fireworks.
Just like taking them out. And then I just hear that, yada I mean, because that's Bay talk right there. So I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, yada me.
So it's like, that was all gas, no brakes.
All gas. No, yeah, and the way he pulled Solo out that car, man, like, yeah, that was Jacob Fatu doing some shit right there.
Representing Sack, man, that shit is crazy.
We had Cody start out opening the ring, talking about his King of the Ring, like he said, he announced, but he was interrupted by Randy Orton, who was not happy about his King of the Ring loss. But he showed faith and told Cody to go beat John Cena's ass and win the title back, so that we can get rid of John Cena and he doesn't ruin wrestling. Then out came a returning Scottish superstar in the one and only Drew McIntyre.
He was talking big shit too. I'm sorry.
Oh,
man.
yeah. Right before he ate the floor. Right before he ate the floor with the 3 most devastating letters in wrestling today, RKO.
Out of nowhere, man.
Yada me. Anyway. And we saw a face-off after that as Drew was healing. We saw a face-off superstar. I'm actually glad you brought that up real quick. I can sidetrack to it. I saw a video earlier this week about how Edge actually told Tony Chimmel to do that because he was jealous of how Tony Chimmel would introduce John Cena. And how to go, John Cena! Like, he's like, really? Really? You can't? He's like, the initial time that they did it, the voice crack in Rated R Superstar wasn't intentional. But everyone after the first one, it was intentional because Edge liked it that much. So that you said Superstar, that reminded me of that. Figured I'd go off on that tangent real quick. All right. But yeah, so Drew came out. Drew talked a lot of big shit to both Randy and Cody. Cody kind of stood there staring at him like, what the fuck? And then finally he talked enough shit to Randy that Randy just said, fuck it, and RKO'd him and laid him out in the ring and left.
And then Cody Rhodes is standing up there confused as fuck, like, what just happened?
What the hell just happened? It was a great moment. Let's see. All right, so that opened the show, and then we went to the Secret Service versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus B-Fab and Michin. It was a triple threat? Yeah, triple threat. And go ahead. This
that
was for
match
a spot.
was good. That match was good. I mean, of course, we know that the Secret Service, we're talking about Alba Fire and the one and only Piper Niven.
Yep.
And that was actually a great match, per se. It just ended up, I think the final straw was, and I have to mention it, like Charlotte Flair just did her business, went over there, patted Alexa Bliss on the head, but in not realizing that she tagged her, and both these two chicks on the ground, and I'm talking about Alba Fire and Piper Niven, and the Bliss, the move that she pulled,
Twisted Bliss.
the Twisted Bliss was fucking excellent. And I will say that they are now going to be a duo, a tag team duo, Bliss and Flair. And I'm there for it because that was right on point.
All day.
I'm there for that one. I will expect for them to take the belts.
Yep. Eventually, I think that's the whole point of what they've been building to.
Yeah, we need that. We need that.
All right, so that but that didn't win them the belts. That just puts them in that match in the Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. The Fatal
win.
4-Way is great. I'm just saying that match was just like, it was worthy of my attention at that point because I stayed glued to that one. So yeah.
For sure. So the next match was an epic match that was set up by Nick Aldis backstage. But we had the Wyatt Six, Uncle Howdy, Eric Rowan, Dexter Lumis, Joe Gacy, taking on Chris Sabin, Montez Ford, Johnny Gargano, and Berto from the AAA Tag Team Champion. Love mentioning that. Lil Legado Fantasma. So, like this match was pretty epic. And of course, as you would expect with anything with the Wyatt Six, it broke down and all hell broke loose. And the Wyatt Six ended up getting the pin and all of the chaos. But I love the scene when all four of the Wyatt Six are in the ring and all four of the guys from the tag teams are in the ring because none of their tag team partners are at ringside. So they're all just there out there together. And they get in the ring and you see Nikki Cross in the back, like right up on the ropes, like she's ready to go jump on somebody's back. Like, you mess with my brothers, you messing with me.
Yeah, that was a good. That was a great match in there because there was a little bit of time when Montez Ford and Eric Rowan, or Dexter Lumis. Yeah, like they were beating the snot out of each other, and there was a couple of moves like he did a I think he did like a salute or something, or like he winked and did I think he did what was that? I can't remember the move that he pulled, but the next thing you know, Montez Ford gets laid out and just like it was epic. Like that guy kicks ass.
I think SummerSlam, we're going to see the Wyatt Six get their next championship match. Or it's going to be some kind of like ladder match where it's like 5 or 6 teams, like a fatal 5-way ladder match or some shit at SummerSlam. Mark my words.
It could happen.
The only reason I also say that is because we also had another tag team match right after that with Fraxium, one of my favorite tag team names to say, taking on Andrade and Rey Fenix. I will say this.
Good match.
That was an amazing match, especially on Rey Fenix and Andrade's side. But I don't know. Like, I don't understand what the plan is with Penta and Rey Fenix. And what I mean by that is the Lucha Brothers are one of the most heralded, like, indie scene tag teams, like, out there. And the fact that you're keeping them apart, and not only keeping them apart, but you got Rey Fenix tagging with other dudes, other luchas. Like, you want a lucha tag team, so you have him tagging with Andrade. I'm like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how I feel about it. But we'll see where they go with it. We also saw a match in which we saw Jacob Fatu and Jimmy Uso. Like, that was one of my favorite setups too, because you have Fatu standing there and he's like, "You got to find a tag team partner. You can have Solo and JC tonight." And then in walks Jimmy Uso. Jacob looks at him, ready to get in where you fit in, cuz he's like,
Yeet.
"You got to mean, yeah, yeet."
Yada mean.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So, yeah, that was a hell of a match. I believe Solo and JC Mateo won. Oh, no. But here's the thing I want to tell everybody. Okay, Night of Champions. Hayakula, I believe his name was, debut. His name in WWE is going to be Tala Tonga.
There we go. That's the one.
So we've got
Tama.
Yeah, we've got Tonga Loa, Tama Tonga, and Tala Tonga. Is gonna be the name of the 7-foot Tongan beast that is the newest member of Solo's crew. So, but they did not. He came out later because they jumped Jimmy and Jacob after they won the match, but they didn't actually interfere in the match.
Yeah, and listen, this is the fucked up part about it, and I think this was a slap to the face of the Shield.
Yeah.
When they held him up, just like back in the day when Seth Rollins and Dean Ambrose did the thing with the triple power slam or whatever the fuck that was. Yeah. I was like, I believe Roman is going to show his face at SummerSlam.
Well, no, not at SummerSlam. The rumor has it that he'll be back before SummerSlam. Yeah. I think Roman makes his big comeback at Saturday night's main event.
You think so?
Yeah. I'm thinking Roman makes his big comeback at Saturday night's main event leading into SummerSlam, because they said he's supposed to be back before SummerSlam to set up a potential match at SummerSlam.
Yeah, dirt sheets on social media that I've been seeing have been speculating that Roman's coming back first this Saturday night main event.
All right, guys. So we'll talk about one more thing we did unfortunately skip over. Was Tiffany Stratton came out and to announce, and was interrupted by Jade Cargill to announce her opponent for WWE's Evolution pay-per-view. And I thought it was going to be Jade, and I'm like, are they really doing her like that? No, her match is supposed to be at SummerSlam. And I was right. Because Tiffany Stratton then proceeds to call out Trish Stratus and challenge her for Evolution. So it'll be Tiffy versus Trish at Evolution for the Women's World title. And then the winner gets Jade Cargill at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. So, say any thoughts on that segment?
Proceed with caution, because you already know Naomi came out and just, should have been caution. Should have proceeded with caution. Like, I just want to strangle this. Like,
I think they did a great job with the look. I think the tagline is horrible. Like, I'm not gonna lie. Caution. Yeah, proceed with caution. Like, it's just not working for her. To me, it doesn't roll off her tongue right. Like, I don't like the tagline. The look, I love it. I love the new bad girl Naomi look.
Proceed with caution. Like,
that tagline just takes me completely out of what I'm seeing.
Yeah, it's not the same as there's a storm coming.
Yeah, 100%.
Or
all right,
there's a hurricane blowing through.
Stop. There's a hurricane. Yes, that's one of my favorite ones right there. Yep. All right, so Now we're going to do a quick preview of what's coming up this weekend, gentlemen, because we've actually got two big events, one PLE and one major event, with Saturday night's main event on Saturday and then Evolution on Sunday.
Yeah.
And actually, it looks like at this point in time, Saturday night's main event is only 3 matches. At this point, Saturday night's main event is only Goldberg versus Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship, LA Knight versus Seth Rollins, and Randy Orton versus Drew McIntyre. Now, don't get me wrong. We still got Monday Night Raw and SmackDown before then for them to set up more matches. But right now, that's all we got.
Yeah.
So, well, there you go. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on that card?
Well, the big one, of course, being Goldberg versus Gunther. I had a talk with a friend of the show, Jamil, about it. And he brought up a very good point that wrestlers are supposed to leave their boots in the ring when they leave. But I think that, in other words, they lose their last match.
Right. They go out on their back.
Right. But I have a feeling that Goldberg's going to win to get the heavyweight championship away from Gunther, and then I think Seth is going to do a run-in, cash in Money in the Bank, and take the heavyweight championship.
See, I think, and the only thing that conflicts with me is that conflicts with my thought process that Gunther's going to hold on to the World Heavyweight Championship till at least SummerSlam, and I don't think we're going to have Seth cash in anytime within the next few months. I think he's going to drag it out because you got to remember he won Money in the Bank, like in June the last time, and he didn't cash it in until WrestleMania. I don't think we're going for a quick turnaround on this. I think we'll see him hint over the next couple of months at cashing it in, but I don't think we'll see an actual cash in until either Royal Rumble or WrestleMania.
Yep, fair.
So, but that's just my personal thought. So the other thing we have going on is the Evolution pay-per-view, which is the second time now in the past 5 years. When was the first one?
Oh man, that was back in
2018.
2018,
Yeah, was the last one. And so this one is going to feature the girls of today, with JC Jane, with her girls Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix taking on Jordan Grace for the NXT Women's Championship. You have Io Sky versus Rhea Ripley for the Women's World Championship. You have Raquel Rodriguez, Roxanne Perez versus Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair versus 2 other teams that'll be decided this week. For the Women's World Tag Championships. You have a Battle Royal for the Women's World Championship match at Clash in Paris. I like the way WWE is doing that now. They're starting to have the number one. They're starting to set up these matches like months in advance instead of just doing it in the last 3-4 months right before the pay-per-view happens, or 3-4 weeks. Tiffany Stratton versus Trish for the women's title, WWE women's title. Jade Cargill versus Miss Proceed with Caution, Naomi.
Yeah.
And then Becky Lynch versus Bayley versus Lyra Valkyria for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. The only title that is not being defended is Julia is not defending the U.S. title, but that could also change between now and Saturday. So, gentlemen, your thoughts on that card so far?
So far, so good. I mean, I'm not mad at any of it.
Yeah.
I'm not mad at any of it. I think that there are going to be some surprises. There are definitely going to be some surprises from, like you said, you just happened to mention that the Bella twins may be coming out of the pocket. But I also, and I'm just going to make mention of it, I honestly believe, and I kind of want to jinx it, but don't want to jinx it. But I honestly believe that Jacqueline is going to make an appearance for.
Wouldn't doubt it. They have a tendency to bring her back for big events.
Well, yeah, but I mean, she just recently she has signed a Legends contract too, I
Right.
believe. So yeah, she, and I think that it would be an honor to have her there because Jacqueline is one of the trailblazers.
Yeah.
She wasn't the only one that was out there, wrestling with the guy against the guys too. I remember she missile drop kick Crash Holly. That shit was hella funny. But yeah,
There you go.
yeah.
I'm right there with you. Yeah, I would love to see Jacqueline. Like, she can make it. Awesome. Like, I think the card that they have is pretty stacked for an all women. I think I'll be honest with you. I think the fact that without having to reach to other brands to bring in people, they managed to fill almost an entire 8-match card
Yeah.
with nothing but their women's division. That to me is awesome. And like I said, the U.S. title isn't on the docket. The North American title from NXT, the women's North American title, isn't on the docket, and neither is the NXT Women's Championships. So there's still more matches that they could even add if they wanted
Right.
to. I doubt they will, but there's still more matches. I think we'll get a U.S. title match. I think we'll get that. Julia versus somebody. Maybe Zelina Vega getting her rematch. But I think we'll get that. But I don't think that we'll get the North American title or the NXT Women's title. But we have enough just for what we have for and Jade Cargill versus Naomi is a no holds barred match. So that's that's going to be good. And bravo to Jade Cargill. She's definitely getting better in a WWE style, match by match, week by week, for sure.
Absolutely.
So, all right, gentlemen, that will close us out for SmackDown. So we're going to give that pop culture quiz answer. The answer was right there in the question. What cartoon series featured a girl named Daria Morgendorffer and was a spinoff of Beavis and Butthead? Daria. So that's
Six
the
Ad
answer.
World.
There you go.
Yeah, Six-Head World.
I just remember my favorite scene from the original Beavis and Butthead series is always them sitting there the first time they kind of introduced the Daria Morgendorffer character, and they're talking to her and they go, diarrhea, cha-cha-cha, diarrhea, cha-cha-cha. And it was just, I don't know why I fell out laughing. That was funny to me. I had a poopy sense of humor back then.
You got issues, man.
Yes, I do. But in a good way.
Hey,
All right.
whoa, wait, how you going? Ladies and gentlemen, in the building, she is the fashion here. She is the ravishing diva, the one and only Ronzi in it for the fashion.
Hey.
Thank you. Good evening.
Thank you for
How
tapping in.
are
Welcome.
you?
Hey,
What's
hey.
going on?
So,
Yeah.
all right. So that'll take us, that announcement will take us right into our final segment and Tech Tinker's favorite segment. All right.
This is not his favorite segment, dude.
Oh man.
Wow.
All right. So let's start off with our final pop culture quiz question for the day. What was the name of the green character who would say, "Smoke me a kipper and I'll be back for breakfast"?
What green character? No, he was not green.
We'll get to that answer at the end of the segment.
Green
All right.
how?
Yeah, we're not going down that block. Dave, just leave it alone, sir. Leave it alone.
Dave, our resident video game guy, here has brought to us Rift's. What did it say? Rift's Promise
Promise of Power.
Report.
Yeah, this is a Kickstarter campaign on BackerKit for a long lost video game, retooled for the modern consoles and mobile. Remember back to the N-Gage?
Yeah.
Remember how quickly that came and went? Well, they had a deal at the time for a video game based off of the TTRPG riffs from Palladium Books.
Right.
And that came and went just as quickly as the N-Gage did. So it never resurfaced. But there is a studio called TransPerfect Studio working with Palladium Books and remastering, redoing the source code and re-releasing, and they are trying to get backer kits going on for it right now. Which
wow.
is, if you've never played Rifts before, it is one of the most batshit crazy awesome settings. You know, hundreds of years after a global apocalypse that started off with a small nuclear exchange that reawakened magic ley lines across the earth, which then turned it from a local catastrophe into a global apocalypse. You've got a ruined world trying to rebuild society. You've got magic, psionics, you've got high tech. You've got just about everything. This was Palladium Books, everything and the kitchen sink thrown in setting.
Oh damn, that's a lot.
We could be, you know, really, just to give you an idea, 1989, 1990 is when the game first came out. You were able to play a dragon, an actual dragon hatchling. That's how gonzo this setting can be. My favorite character class, is what's called a glitter boy, where you're piloting a 10-foot mech suit that's a legacy suit, hundreds of years old, that fires a massive cannon. Let's see if I've got my newer miniature still up here. Nope. But it fires a cannon that shoots out hundreds of flechettes at Mach 2.
Shit.
Yeah. It is just absolutely amazing, amazeballs.
So much gaming news. Sorry,
Jesus
texting was
Christ,
going
man.
crazy in the comment section.
Yeah. But it's only got 10 days left. They are currently far short of their goal.
Yeah.
They're about 20% of their goal as of today, with about 10 days left.
Okay.
So I don't think it's going to be going further. There's a lot of issues that can be the cause of it. So I'm sad, but the cool thing about Kickstarter and backer kit is that you pledge what you want.
Right.
And if it doesn't make the minimal level of the pledge, you're not charged anything. You're only charged if it successfully funds.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
So, yeah. So it's a great way to get, and this is all in a JRPG style. So, yeah, imagine Final Fantasy with full-bodied cyborg warriors, wizards, psionicists, just all sorts of crazy things. Psychic vampires that feed off of somebody's magical / psionic energy.
Now, what's funny is that the concept of psychic vampires is not something new, like, or strictly to video games. There's actually a whole concept about people that are psychic vampires, and they steal your energy as opposed to your blood.
But this is, you know, your psychic vampire, psi stalker, actually has to hunt the person or supernatural creature down and do a little bit of damage and draw some blood in order to release the psychic energy.
Okay.
Yeah, in order to feed. So, yep.
That's interesting.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite settings. It's not my favorite tabletop role-playing game system because of several reasons. It's got 40 years worth of gunk buildup and trying to
Yeah.
cram so many different things into the overall Palladium system where it
Okay.
just starts falling apart.
For sure.
And yeah,
All right. So, all right.
but check that out. I put a link up on the Facebook page. Check it out. There's a video that shows you what the concept gameplay of the game looks like. So, yeah.
All right. There you go.
Oh,
All right.
and the saviors of humanity are basically Nazis in black armor and skullhead. They're not really the saviors of humanity because they just hate everything not human
Yeah.
and want to destroy it all. But they're the main power.
Fair enough. All right. So this is going to be another one that's just a quick drop. I don't know if this is new, but I just recently discovered that I guess there's a Beavis and Butthead mod in Call of Duty.
Yeah, actually,
Tell me about
let me
it.
go ahead. Okay, so actually, because I got to go ahead and give a shout out to Roxy Heart 82. She is currently playing Call of Duty right now, and there are only 4 of the characters that are part in that universe. So you have Beavis and Butthead, and then you have the coach,
Coach,
the guy with the
Kick me in the Jimmy.
yeah, that motherfucker. that motherfucker. And then I didn't get to see the other one, but I figured that Tom Anderson should have been a part of that, because
Mr.
that's
Anderson,
the voice.
yeah.
Yeah,
Tom
'cause,
Anderson, or what would be better, be Peacenik teacher.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Yeah.
Now
I can
I
see
always
it.
forget. Just last thing I always forget was Anderson was the inspiration for Hank Hill, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Because I'm like, because there was a fan theory that they were the same person. I'm like,
No.
no.
Just the same voice. It just sounded the same, I'll kick your ass. You know what I'm saying? Just like, yeah. Propane and propane products.
What are you talking about, Taylor Swift? Are you just crashing out on us, Tech Tinkers? Like, what are you talking about in the comment section, bro? Breaking Swifty news. Travis Kelce says no more Super Bowls, and Taylor Swift says it's over. I'm making a song about you. Like, you're killing me, brother. You're killing me.
He said, "I'm serious." Oh
You see-
damn, that's bad. That's all bad.
Oh man. Guys. For those of you who didn't know, executives convicted for workplace harassment today on surprising you on the news today at 10. Now it's the ex Ubisoft bosses. I guess the guys that used to run Ubisoft have been convicted over workplace harassment while they were working at Ubisoft. So
Why don't they just get? I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna leave it alone. Today I am. Today.
So those of you who have been waiting for Helldivers 2, Ubisoft, who's that? They're a company from the olden days, Tech Team. You should remember them. Okay, they're from the olden days.
No, Ubisoft. No. Oh no, Ubisoft is currently. Those are the guys that create Assassin's Creed and those games, Watch Dogs, like.
No, I was just responding to Tech Tinker saying Ubisoft who? Like they're from the old
Oh,
days.
got
They're
it.
from the days when Grandma and Grandpa ruled the world. Anyway, it looks like Helldivers 2 will not be
Tech
coming
Tinkers?
to X.
Yeah, Tech Tinkers, watch Ironheart all the way through just to see how your beautiful Tech Utopia is going to get completely, how bad it's going to go.
Let's see. All right, but yeah. So the next one that we have is that for those of you who are fans of Helldivers 2 and did not purchase the game or could not and was waiting for it, they will actually. It's you say Game Pass will shut them down. They did. The bad news that Helldivers 2 has is that it will not be coming to Xbox Game Pass. So that sucks. Probably the only way I was going to play it. So it sounds like a great game. Yeah. So yeah.
That's well, I guess it is what it is. I mean, it's kudos for those that that are in the on the PlayStation, because that is actually an excellent game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Starship Troopers without it being Starship Troopers.
We all know we need a Starship Troopers right now.
We actually do have a Starship. There's actually a Starship Troopers game. I think there's out right now. I think that's MMORG or MMORPG. So I don't.
All our brains are going to get sucked now, huh? Brain bug! Brain bug! I had my daughter walking around the house saying that for like a week. She walked into the room right when the scene when Neil Patrick Harris goes to touch the brain bug. All right. And she's she walked out of the room. I go, brain bug! And she's like, what are you talking about? And I pointed at the screen. I'm like, brain bug! And then it hit me in that moment watching that scene as Neil Patrick Harris goes, it's scared.
Yep.
Well, yeah, motherfucker. If I just had somebody drag me out my home into the middle of the street, and then there was about 1,000 dudes with guns standing around me, like, I'd be pretty afraid too. Like, I think afraid is pretty much on par with what we should be expecting.
It's afraid.
Anyway, all right. So yeah, that's it for video game talk for today. Let's get that answer to the pop culture quiz question. What was the name of the green character who would say, smoke me a kipper, I'll be back for breakfast? Ace Rimmer from Red Dwarf, but for the cartoons, the green character is Zim from Invader Zim.
What?
That was the answer.
When did Zim ever say that?
I don't know. We'd have to go back and watch the tape.
Dude, I have watched Invader Zim. I watched Invader Zim after Red Dwarf. When the hell did Zim ever say that? Never.
I'm just reading answers, man.
Never.
I'm just reading answers.
Dude,
well,
you need to stop smoking the chat GPT, okay?
All right. And actually,
wow.
What's that?
Game Pass kills Perfect Dark.
Yeah.
That's I mean that's
Perfect Dark remake. Yeah. Well, not
Helldivers, Arcane Studios.
Not just it is Arcane Studios.
Yep.
There was a big bloodbath at Xbox a couple days ago. Happy 4th of July. Here's your pink slip, literally. And
wow.
Yeah. So there's a lot of stuff that people are kind of like, what?
That's just insane. All right. So we are going to close up with that. We're getting close to time. So we will do our final segment of the day. Where can we find you next? Runeskaya, why don't you tell us what's going on the night shift, my friend?
I will be back on tonight with more Spider-Man 2. More Peters and Miles show.
All right. And Saint, what's going on with you? Sorry, I was reading.
The usual antics, some gaming, some good music. Got a couple of new tracks kicking off. It's going to be a little more on the music side than the gaming side, but there's still going to be some in there. So, we got to do our due diligence. But, yeah, NVT Fusion tonight. Whenever I guess about maybe 10:45 p.m. Eastern time, 11 o'clock Eastern, around that time. Somewhere in between that little bit of 15 minutes right there, yeah.
All right.
It's the summer.
For those of you
man.
watching us on YouTube, you catch that over here on Twitch, and I believe on Kick, right?
No. It's
just on Twitch.
just on Twitch for right now.
Okay. So that's going to be that. You can catch me in about an hour and a half over at the classroom. With, I believe so far we've gotten the confirmation that Suave will be there. I have not gotten confirmation from O'Malley yet, but I'll have it soon, hopefully, and we'll have her on as well. Lots to talk about with everything going on in the NBA today, so be sure to join us for that. And other than that, y'all have a good afternoon. I hope you have enjoyed the show. Be sure to catch the classroom at 6, NBT Fusion after that, and we'll see you guys on the flip side. Saint, are you raiding us out?
Yes, I will be doing just that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. And hold on. Hang on a second.
Dave, stick around after this. I got something I want to tell you about real quick.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Starting the raid.